I'm Penny Jones. I'm here with Andrew Jay, Head of Data Center Advisory Group for Europe, Middle East and Africa for CB Richard Ellis. We're here to discuss CB Richard Ellis's quarterly European data center market analysis. Andrew, can you tell us a little bit about how these market analyses are done?
Sure, yeah, we've been tracking the carrier-neutral market across the main European cities for around 10 years now. And we track London, Paris, Frankfurt, Amsterdam and Madrid. Madrid's a small city really. Originally when we started tracking them 10 years ago it was going to be a big city, but it hasn't panned out like that. And so we talked to the main providers of carrier neutral space each quarter. They provide us with the data in terms of increase in stock, the take up of space, and we run our statistics accordingly.
Mm-hmm. What did the last quarter's report actually show? What were some of the standout?
Well, it's not pleasant reading for everybody. Last quarter showed a significant downturn in activity in Q3 of last year, both in retail co-location and wholesale colo. So down everywhere. I think the balance to that view is it's looking like 2010 will show actually quite a good year for retail co-location, but a dip in wholesale co-location across Europe.
Okay. Was there any positive outcomes from the report that you got?
Yeah, I think the positive is retail being up, to be quite honest, and I think it's held up pretty well in the context of the devastating economic conditions that we've been in for the last couple of years. And I think it's taken some time from the economic crisis starting to really bite on the IT side, because once an IT project started, then it tends to continue on through to completion, and so there's been I think something of a lag. So the fact that we've got retail up is pretty positive actually.
Looking at Europe, were there any differences in the locations where you're taking these figures from and themselves?
Yeah, I think the city that stands out in Europe is probably Paris, in that Paris has been particularly buoyant in 2010, where London's been quite down, and places like Amsterdam have held up pretty well. And even Frankfurt, which was, talking to our 10 years of tracking these markets, in the dot-com crash, Frankfurt was massively affected, huge oversupply, and it's taken a lot of years to soak up that supply, and now it's coming good, and actually we're seeing some new build projects start in Frankfurt.
Were there any companies that stood out in your report?
Yeah, I think that there seems to have been a polarisation on the retail side. It's the Equinix Interaction, Telecity, Telehouse companies, who are in all of these multiple markets, and the barrier to entry of that market is very, very high. And on the wholesale side, well, it's the Centrums in London, it's the digital realty trusts across Europe, to name the two main people.
And thank you. What do you think we can see next year? You said it's likely to be more next quarter, sorry.
I think it's going to be difficult in 2011 in terms of take-up. I think of data centres is going to be up on 2010, but we're not going to see a massive rebound, in my opinion, back up to our peak levels of 2007. I think we need to see significant improvements in the economy, the IT budgets getting freed up, a lot of the big banks taking on big chunks of headcount to really drive the demand. And I think a lot of companies who have virtualized their servers have created an artificial buffer of space and power, and that's starting to get used up now, is my view on it, and that's going to start getting used up during the course of this year.
Yeah, so a more positive 2011 then?
Yeah, cautiously optimistic.